I intended to backpack into the primitive sites at Stone Mountain State Park here in North Carolina today. But the plan was that when I woke up tomorrow morning, I would come up the Mountain to Sea Trail to the Parkway. And I was informed by the people at the Stone Mountain State Park that the trail up to the Parkway was closed because there's a lot of trees down on it. So instead, we drove up to the Parkway, and I'm going to start from where I was going to end up late tomorrow morning and just hike about 5 miles to the campground this afternoon. The thunderstorms behind me have gone by, and it's a lot of blue sky now. So I'll check in with you after a bit. So check out these rocks. The Blue Ridge Parkway is a temperate rainforest. A lot of times this, I believe it's a lichen, this green stuff. A lot of times when you see it, it's all black, kind of like that. It gets dried out and curls up. But it's been so rainy that it's not dried up and curled up. I mean, some of these little leafy things, if that's what you want to call them, are really pretty good size. I have heard that if you're really hungry, you can boil these, drain the water, boil them again, and then eat them. But they're very pretty on the trail. So it was raining before I ever got out of the car. So it might be 73 degrees, but I think it's 73 degrees and 150% humidity. My glasses keep fogging up. I'm so sweaty, they keep sliding down my face. So I had to put my leash on them to hold them on my head. I just came from there, but I'm going to turn this way. Look at this beautiful glade I'm walking through. It is so pretty. I can get my head out of the middle of it. You know, and if you were down on the road, which you could be if you wanted to drive on the Parkway, the road is right down there. So, you know, I think you'd miss this. And it's such a pretty place. Just thought I'd share. There were sprinkles a minute ago, but now the sun's back out. And we're in a slightly different kind of woods. We're up on the top of a ridge. There's no real views here. But there's a nice breeze. It feels wonderful. And there's a long, slow path going up along the ridge line. And just thought I'd let you look at it for a minute. The Parkway is really one of nature's wonderful treasures, one of this country. Look at the rain out there in the valley. That's to the west of me and slightly north. I just came out of a hole in the woods back right there, and I will be continuing to make you all dizzy. Behind me, the trail goes along the road, and then it goes into a big grassy field. I'm about 2.5 miles from the Brinegar cabin at this point in time. Let's go. Maybe I'm partial, but is this not the coolest thing? This ridge of stone covered in moss and lichen, ferns. It's like just one of the things that you'll see here on the Blue Ridge Parkway in our gorgeous temperate rainforest that you may not see in other places. In the book The Prophet by Kahlil Gibran, there's a question asked, speak to us about life. And one of the things in the lines of that poetry talks about life's longing for itself. And I can't help but think, when I see a hole in the forest that is so packed full of green things reaching for the sun, I can't help but think of what Kahlil Gibran said in The Prophet. I'm hiking in a little bit of a sunny spot. The trail kind of goes, across some grass. But over here, if you look in between the trees, there's a little bit of a vista. And there's definitely a lot of gray clouds around still. I'm going to keep moving. We're not the only ones that use this trail. So we are walking along the edge of a bear sanctuary wildlife refuge. The path kind of travels right along the edge, and right through here there's a very large collection of mountain laurel. That's what this is all through here. I think they flower like in April or May. Really pretty. But I wanted to show you another little ecosystem along the trail. And while we're walking, I'm just going to ask, am I the only one on the planet who just can't stand walking through cobwebs? Ugh, I hate getting cobwebs on my face. But for the benefit of this video, I'm doing it. And I'm ignoring the mosquitoes buzzing around my ears. So, yeah, things to be aware of if you're here in the summertime. Maybe that's why I usually hike here in the winter. Yeah. Of course, mountain laurels are not deciduous. They keep their leaves all year. So you would still be walking through these thickets, but it would be cold enough in the winter that there would be no mosquitoes and gnats harassing you. And that's always a good thing. All right, I'll check back in with you in a bit. This is the Brinagar cabin. The parkway drives by right there. And down the sidewalk behind the cabin is the old spring house. There is one or two windows in the cabin. There's an old storage shed over there, a garden up here, and we're gonna hope that it's open this weekend and we'll show real good pictures about it. But this is where Martin Brinagar built his cabin. He started building it in 1886 and it took him 3 years. We are going to continue traveling along the MST. We're about 1.5 miles from the campground at this point. I don't think I can hold the camera still to give you a great view, but beautiful mountain meadow, clouds blowing by. I hear thunder off in the distance every now and then, but it's where the clouds have already gone by me. I'm not worried about getting stuck in it. Hi, gangsters. So today's hiking was not what I thought it was going to be when we pulled out of the driveway. We got to Stone Mountain State Park, and there was no problem with reserving a backcountry site. The problem was hiking from that site up to the parkway tomorrow. The trail was closed. There's been storms and there have been trees that have come down, and so they've closed the trail, which is probably a really good idea. That in about 6 miles, it goes up 2,000 feet. It's a strenuous trail, so that's fine. So we drove up to the parkway, and when we got up to the parkway, it was raining. What we did was we drove to the overlook, the Devil's Garden overlook, where I would have come out of the woods at. And from there to where I am now, inside the Doughton Park Campground, is 5 miles. So I hiked 5 miles today instead of 2 miles yesterday and 12 or so tomorrow. So now I'm here, and I wasn't planning to be here till tomorrow. At any rate, I want to tell you about my dinner. So I brought some wild-caught smoked Alaskan pink salmon in one of those foil packets. It looks like this. This was pretty good. It was pretty good. It wasn't like the fresh smoked that you get in the refrigerator part of the grocery store, but it was good. And then I had gone online and found some recipes. I was given some advice by a backpacker who I really respect, because he has been all over the world. Nick, I'm talking about you. He's even hiked with the Maasai, which I think is incredibly cool. So, and he is, I would say, if not a light, then an ultra-light backpacker. And every time I've seen his pictures of late, he has food that he is rehydrating without boiling any water. It is summertime. It is hot. Do we really need a hot meal at the end of the day? So he and I chatted a little bit, and then I went online and I looked up some recipes. So anyway, this, which I'm going to, can you see it? It's yummy. This is organic ramen, broken into pieces. My fancy, cookware. This is pretty lightweight, and since it's not going to get heated, that's going to work fine. Anyway, so ramen noodles. I bought Mrs. Dash Mediterranean spice and put a good teaspoon in a little bag, and a 1/4 cup of grated Parmesan cheese in a little bag. So then when I got here, all I had to do was dump my ramen noodles in the cup, dump some water on top of it, let it sit about 20 minutes, and then put my herbs and spices and cheese in there and mix it up good. And I'm just saying, for a no-cook meal, very lightweight, easy to carry with you if you're ever backpacking, this is good. I would do it again. Thanks, Nick, for turning me into the idea of doing cold meals. And maybe tomorrow morning I'll share what I have for breakfast. So, it is not supposed to rain, but look at the clouds around me. They're beautiful, but I'm trying to dry my shoes and socks. I took a little bath in the sink in the bathroom. So this is the tent area at Doughton Park. It is a remote area. There are bears, and as you can see behind me, they have bear boxes at almost every site here in the tent side. On the RV side, you're expected to just keep your food inside. But for whatever reason, I think one of the reasons actually is they've been doing a lot of road repairs and road maintenance, and access to the Doughton Park area. A couple months ago, you could only get here for the last 18 months coming from the south, from Highway 18. Well, now you can't get here from Highway 18. You have to come from the north and come south from Highway 21. So it just makes it really complicated and confusing for people, especially if they're not from around here. So it's my understanding that between the damage further south, there's damage here too. Probably 2/3 of this campground is closed, but it is open, and there's only 2 people here, me and one other family. And there's probably, in this loop, which is open, I don't know, there's probably 25 or 30 sites. So come on, y'all, get out, enjoy nature. Over where I put my hammock is protected by trees and more in the shade. And 2 things, my shoes and socks won't dry so well if I'm sitting in the shade. My food odors might linger around my hammock, and I don't want to be a bear taco. And the mosquitoes are over there, and I hate mosquitoes. I'm sorry, I don't know what good purpose they serve, but that's what I have to say about that. So I'll check back in with y'all after a while. A little evening entertainment as we wait for the sun to go down. While I was hiking today, I saw a 6-point buck with beautiful velvet. But these are all does, or they're very young. Good morning. I'm walking along the trail from the Doughton Park Campground to the Visitor Center Bluffs Restaurant picnic area. It's about 1.5 miles, and I just thought I would check in with you while I'm walking. It was a very pleasant night, very quiet. Started off a little warm, but by morning I had my blanket on, and I slept pretty good. So today it is sunny at the moment, and it will be clouding up this afternoon. They're calling for thunderstorms starting around 4 o'clock and turning into just rain around 9. Looks like over 1 inch of rain will be coming down. I think I'm in a pretty good place. I am on a hill. I have a little bit of concern about that with it being a thunderstorm, but I don't think I'm going to be the most attractive thing on top of the hill. There's a water tower less than 100 feet away and lots of tall trees. So, and I will be basically hanging out in my hammock under the tarp because that's where it will be dry. So, look at that. I don't think I've ever seen one of these fungus before. Isn't that bizarre? Wow. Anyway, yeah, I get distracted when I'm in the woods. Rabbit, squirrel. Yesterday I saw a 6-point buck, still had his velvet on his antlers. He was cute. Last night there were the 4 deer grazing right there near my campsite. Those things are always fun. Some other people that are camping in the campground say they saw a bear when they were driving down the road in the area that I had hiked through. I didn't get to see it, so I'm going to turn the camera around. I'm walking through cobwebs. I hate cobwebs. I'm going to turn the camera around and let you see the view I'm seeing, because, well, that's probably a little more interesting than this old face. Yeah, so here's my view. I will be coming out in a camping area that is currently closed because of the trees being down. I don't know if the roads are impassable or what, but they haven't closed this trail. So here I am, walking on the trail. Pretty soon it'll make a hard left and descend and cross the road and then go up into some cow fields after you get through the rhododendrons. But first, just a little bit of another view. You know, now this is not a campground that was built, you know, in the 2000s. This campground was built in the 30s, 1930s, 1940s. So it is all what would be called dry camping. No power, no water. There are bathrooms with running water. There are no showers. So, you know, most people probably wouldn't want to stay more than a couple days. But there's incredible beauty here. And I urge you to get out of your comfort zone and check it out sometime. Here we go. A little bit up, a little bit of down, a little bit around and round. More mountain laurel and blueberry bushes. Okay, so this is the back end, pretty far down at the end of the campground. This area is currently closed. I don't know why. Like, I haven't seen catastrophic damage that would make me think, oh, it needs to be closed. But it's closed. And so this, again, I'm continuing along on the trail that leads to the Bluffs, which is where the picnic area is, the visitor center, and the Bluffs restaurant, which you gotta visit if you come to this part of the parkway. It is hot in the sun. Temperature's only in the middle 70s today. It's really quite nice. Back up we go. On occasion, there are cows in this next field. It's a big field. It goes up some more and has beautiful views from the top. But, you know, a cow or a horse wouldn't make it through there. And once in a while, this girl with her backpack struggles to get through there. The birds are singing. The bugs are doing their thing. There's enough of a breeze that their thing does not include harassing me today. So it's a beautiful day. There's a chance of thunderstorms and rain, of course, later this afternoon. Another style. Means we're at the top. Whew. Now, let's take a little gander behind us. 1, 2. Whew. As the sound of this car fades, I hope my video captures the gentle roar of all these honeybees. They're everywhere here. This is what's behind me. This is to my right side. I'm heading back toward the campground, and that's where I'm heading. Mountain clouds, mountain weather. I gotta get back to my campsite. It's on the other side of that hill. Will my sunny spot stay with me? I don't know. Here we go. We'll find out. The cloud just started rolling in. I think I have battened down my hatches, and I think I'm ready for a little over an inch of rain in the next 5 hours or 4 hours. But, you know, I am second guessing myself a little. That is so cool looking. Hi. Well, time has passed. It is now Sunday, late Sunday morning. We had 1.5 inches of rain on Friday, and we were in the clouds that were dripping significantly all day yesterday, and it poured again last night. I can report that Mark brought me more blankets, and I was comfortable in my hammock. So I'm standing outside the spring house at the Brinegar cabin. At the one end where the door is where they would go to get water. And they would carry buckets of water multiple times a day up the hill, which did not have a sidewalk and stairs, I'm sure, at that time, all the way up the hill to the house. Every time they needed water. We have such an easy life. And this building is also the refrigerator. It's where they kept milk, butter, and eggs. The second half of the building is, I don't know, like boarded up, but not completely airtight in any fashion, so that they could keep those foodstuffs on that side and the critters wouldn't get them. And up there, you've got the cabin and the shed or the barn or whatever you would want to call it. At the moment, there's a bunch of people up there, but there's also a couple park rangers doing some interpretation. They are carding and spinning wool, which Carolyn Brinegar would have done on a regular basis because they made their own clothes. So let's walk up there and see what there is to see. I'm standing right outside what I guess you would call the back porch of the Brinegar cabin. They've got stone stairs and a little porch. And, you know, down there is where the spring house is. Good morning, gangsters. Well, it's Monday morning. It's the last day here. We're actually packing up in a little bit. It is a beautiful morning, the nicest morning of the whole time I've been up here. We got very little dew last night. There was no rain. There was some gusts of breeze. The temperature got in the low 50s. But this morning the sun is shining. It's a beautiful morning. And we're gonna, pack up and head home. But, it's Monday. We're gonna pack up and head home from the tent camping area, and we're coming back on Wednesday, and we'll be in the RV camping area until the following Monday. So I'm looking forward to coming back in just a couple days. I mentioned earlier in the video when I was sharing with you the ramen noodle recipe that I tried, and anyway, I have breakfast. So here's my breakfast. It doesn't look like much, I have to admit. It's granola and powdered whole milk, walnuts, coconut, and freeze-dried bananas and strawberries. And it's pretty good. So that's today's breakfast. I have a Hennessy hammock, and I have started tearing it down, I guess you'd say. The blankets and stuff are out of it. The underquilt is off. I stayed dry and warm for the last 4 nights in my hammock, and I had a couple of really good nights of sleep. I never sleep great when I'm camping, but I had a couple of pretty good nights sleep. And then, one night there were people that were slamming their trunk and their car doors until midnight, and then they started again at 2 a.m, and then somebody was crying. Turns out she had lost her cell phone, but somebody was crying around 6 a.m. and they were packing up and leaving. And then that Saturday was not supposed to rain, but we were in the clouds all day. The campground here is at 3,700 feet. We were in the clouds all day, and it was misty and drizzly, but it was also beautiful. We did go hiking and had a really nice day with our son Josh and his wife Becca. And so this chapter is coming to a close. It's a beautiful morning on the mountain. We did spend some time yesterday, as you saw in some video, at the Brinegar cabin. There was some very interesting history shared by the interpreter that was there. They were carding wool, they were spinning wool, and just kind of sitting around and talking and telling the stories of the people who used to live in this area. And it was a pleasant visit. I don't know how long we were there, maybe a half an hour or so. I can't think of anything else to update y'all on. There's a lot to do to pack up and go home. Not really. Mark's tent, my hammock, and finishing breakfast and cleaning up from breakfast. So thanks for coming along. I will try to do another video next time I go hiking, and we will see you again soon. Thanks for joining me, gangsters. Bye.